Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Lodge, Favorite Podcast, Favorite Channel, Favorite Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, pandasubs.com. Discount code TDL for 35% off. All right, so today we're going to be doing some interesting stuff. We're not going to be breaking down players today. I'm going to be doing 12 personnel, and Matt's going to be going over how to stop Patrick Mahomes. So, how do you stop Patrick? Which how
you slow him down? How you slow him down? Let's be clear.
How you slow him down? Yeah. So I was watching this. Funny. I was watching this Taylor Swift documentary, and she's like really vicious to people she like gets back at. I'm like, we just need her to break up with Travis Kelce week 4. It just it'll be vicious. The fans will be on him. You won't be able to handle it. He'll be playing bad. A lot of drops. That's what we need.
Swifties will get to him, man. That's what we need.
They'll get in his head, ruin the season.
Yeah, so you don't want to cross the Swifties. So let's hope Travis does something. Do something bad. The worst case scenario is they get married. That's going to be the death of the Raiders.
Yeah, or they get married and there's a quick divorce by week 8. That's what we need. We need something like that.
Yeah, we need some spiciness.
Taylor Swift's going to end the Chiefs dynasty. She's going to end it at some point. All right. So really nothing else crazy to talk about. Fans were upset at me that I said we should pay Max Crosby. It's interesting. You're going to do something basically on Max Crosby. But they're pretty upset that I said we got a lot of not mean comments, but just people they just disagreed. I'm not going to say they're upset, but I thought that was interesting because I don't see what's wrong with paying Max. That's what's wrong with it. But anyways, that was interesting to read those comments the other day because that was just I don't know, Matt.
I mean, I feel like it is that time of year where people are looking for stuff to get mad at, so it just happens. But I don't know. Where's Max rank right now among edge rushers? I'd be curious about that as far as getting paid. But I know he doesn't need a new contract. But at the same time, what's up? He's 10th.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he doesn't need like a new contract. It's not about to expire or anything, but at the same time, it's hard for me to argue to not do everything you can to make sure that guy's happy and keep him around.
Yeah. Especially at the cap space. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because we just had that conversation last time. It was just interesting to see the reaction to that because I was like, man, I didn't think I would get that reaction. But yeah, nothing else is really happening. Josh Jacobs is still talking crazy. He's whatever. That's Josh Jacobs right now. Other than that, nothing at all, right? I mean,
not much. Yeah. It is that quiet period, so that dead time before camp. We got 2 weeks left before rookies get in town. I should say.
Yeah, the Raiders did get ranked on their young core. They got ranked 31st by ESPN, which is
what defines a young core?
Under 25. So like Aiden O'Connell and somebody else who's over 26, they got thrown out.
How old's O'Connell?
26. He's 26-year-old.
Damn.
He's gonna be 26 when the year starts, I guess. His birthday is September 1st.
Damn, I didn't realize that. Damn.
Yeah. So but I mean they got Brock Bowers and Jackson Powers Johnson and Mumford and Zamir White. I don't think it's that bad, but I can see why it's lower because they don't have like a I don't know. I didn't read the rest of the list, but they're at 31st.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like a lot of their draft classes have been like older lately. Like it wasn't par like 5th-year senior. I mean, Max is above 25 now too. So, and I feel like Kuntz does get a ton of respect in the national media. Like, I feel like people who like paid attention a little bit closer, like and see the more advanced stats will give Kuntz some love, but not everyone does at this point. So he's still kind of an unknown guy.
Yeah, I mean, you go on TikTok, man. Everybody says the Raiders are going to finish in last place. So you saw how the media is betraying the Raiders right now. That the Raiders are going to be one of the worst teams. Raiders are garbage. I'm like, man, like what? They're 8-9 though. At least I mean, the garbage is a stretch. That's my thing. It's like you can say they're not going to make the playoffs or something. They're not a contender. That's fine. But like when you start saying they're garbage, like
it's the quarterback situation. Anytime. Like that's what a lot of people pay attention to because it is the most important position. But when you don't have a stable or great answer at quarterback, people are going to knock you in the offseason.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I don't know. It's the league. I think the league's changing a little bit too. So it's going to be. Yeah, if you're not changing, like I saw I don't know if you saw Hard Knocks, the GM thing. If you are not trying to figure out like the league is kind of getting away from the passing era, I think you're going to get left behind a little bit because it was just him thinking that Daniel Jones could throw the ball 35 times. Like, why do you need to find that out? Like, you can't. How long have we been in the NFL now here that we know that Daniel Jones needs a run game? I don't know what he was thinking. I don't care. So it's super interesting. So I think the league is changing a little bit. So it's going to be. I think this is going to be an interesting year. To be honest, I think the whole quarterback narrative thing is going to fall down a little bit because a lot of teams are going to be winning with quarterbacks that don't make any sense. That's my theory.
I can barely hear you, dude. It's like,
it's going. Is it late?
Yeah, it's like super choppy.
All right. Yeah, you could chop it up on me too. What's going on? Let me see here. Is it? It's still choppy, huh?
Yeah, for like for a good minute, like maybe even longer.
You just completely lost me.
Wasn't good. Yeah, like this. I was trying to like play it off and keep going, and then I was like, I don't know what you said.
I'll just take that part out. All right, we're good. All right. So we're doing 12 personnel today. I'm gonna go look at that's a big topic because they got 2 tight ends. So we're going to deep dive into 12 personnel. And then, there's a topic going around of Mahomes and how Crosby and them stop Mahomes. So we're going to deep dive into that once again, kind of get that look. So with 12 personnel, I think it's definitely a big part of the offense. When I was watching it this time and actually looking for 12 personnel, I felt really bad for Harrison Bryant. Because I bet Harrison Bryant signed that he was going to get a lot of playing time. We talk about like what happened to Michael Baker, but Harrison Bryant signed that dotted line thinking like, hey man, this team plays 12 personnel. I'm going to be on the field. They draft Brock Bowers. That must have hurt. That must have hurt a little bit for him. Yeah. So I think that it's a key part of this offense, though. It is key. I think he has some pretty good stuff to do out of it. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Was Harrison Bryant? I'm trying to think. Was he the tight end 2 behind Njoku in Cleveland?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and then so now he comes to the Raiders and they spend a first-round pick on a tight end to be the tight end 3. Yeah, that's a tough move. Maybe a little bit of a immediate regret. But
tough break there, bro. Tough break. I mean, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm curious to see like the breakdown of it, but it just feels like the more we dive into Getsy's offense, the more that you've posted, like he has some good stuff. It was just hampered by some quarterback play that was obviously subpar. I mean, I've talked about it with Fields, didn't make a lot of throws, and I know you were talking about it beforehand. Like Bajan wasn't much better, and as you can expect from a rookie quarterback, that was an undrafted free agent. So
yeah, it's I kind of question the quarterbacks they got for his system. Like, are they gonna, Gardner Minshew really can't run it? That's my thing. Like, if they try to use Scott Turner's short passing, maybe if he has more control of the passing game, maybe. But if they're gonna do Luke Getsy's passing game, or if Luke Getsy's have more hands on the running game, or they're doing a combined brain, like a 3-headed monster, they got Craig and they got Turner and then Getsy calling the plays. Maybe if they do something like that, it will work with some of these guys. But I mean, I think O'Connell could run it a little bit. It's just like, to me, is like when I was watching it, especially this when I was really reflecting this time, I was like, man, you could have just signed James Winston and we could be throwing the ball deep all over the yard. I don't know how it would have looked eventually, like with mistakes and turnovers and stuff like that. I mean, it's a different story. But I mean, he would definitely be throwing these verticals. You know what I mean? Like it would have been a lot cheaper.
Boring, that's for sure.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like it's more that type of dynamic for me with Luke Getsy is like, I mean, because Minshew can't do it. I even went back. I watched Minshew get the Shanks this morning. I was like, am I missing? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's something that I'm missing, and I still feel the same way. So I don't know, man. But so what were you doing looking at with Max and the Chiefs there?
Yeah, so part of what I wanted to look at it is just obviously it's been kind of talked about a lot in the offseason. People saying about how the Raiders were the last team to beat the Chiefs, and um, how they kind of like took it to him. I think Travis Kelce even recently said on his podcast like they came out and like kicked their ass and just were aggressive. And then Max too. I don't think the episode's come out, or at least not by the time we recorded, but saw him on Part of My Take talking about how they stopped Mahomes and how they were just basically hunting him and they were like containing him in the pocket, but still like going after and being aggressive with them. So I just kind of wanted to show what that looked like and put a little bit of more context to it, because what the Raiders did a lot of the times was they were contain rushing, but I think the common misconception with a lot of contain rushing is that you're just kind of like basically as a defensive lineman, like sitting there and like waiting for the quarterback to move and then going and like giving him time in the pocket. When in reality, that's not a great contain rush. What a great contain rush is you have your guys still going after the quarterback. You're just maintaining your rush lane integrity and still being aggressive and collapsing the pocket, because if you let Mahomes just sit back there and pick you apart, he will. And eventually he'll get out of the pocket. And I think that was something that the Raiders did. It was like, what I would consider like controlled chaos a little bit, or controlled aggression, where like they were measured, but at the same time they were still being physical and getting after it, and not just giving him all day to go back and pass the ball or scramble around. So I kind of wanted to show that. And of course we'll get the 2 defensive touchdowns at the end, one of which had actually, I think, had the way the Raiders were rushing and were attacking Mahomes played a big factor in how they ended up getting that pick 6 by Jack Jones. So I'll break into that too. So yeah, just kind of want to put a little bit of some examples to what's been talked about and give people an idea of what the Raiders can do and what they can hopefully replicate going into this year.
All right, cool stuff. All right, so let's get into the Chiefs stuff. Let's check this out.
Sounds good.
How we could beat the Chiefs again this year? Because I mean, they're big. So
yeah, I will say there had to be a little bit of luck. Like the Chiefs had a couple bad drops, and one of the defensive touchdowns we'll dive into was pure luck. So you have a little bit of luck on your side too. But
I got you up there.
All right, you got me. Sounds good. All right, so this first example, again, it's going to be a little more of an example of how they kept Mahomes in the pocket with a stunt. Like you're going to see Crosby and Adam Butler here down at the bottom of the screen run a little TE stunt. And again, just kind of being a little more controlled chaos. We went over Adam Butler and how he's so effective on stunts. This is another really good example of it. Like right here, like you can see, like he's doing a great job of getting his eyes on the tackle and then attacking the tackle to set like the pick, if you will, like if it was a basketball play. And then on top of it, like you'll see Max Crosby, he helps out Butler by taking like 3 or 4 hard steps up the field and even taking on this chip block. And that keeps the tackle's attention. Like the tackle, like again, you can see his eyes. He's got no idea Butler is coming. So then when Butler is aggressive and sets the pick, he's able to break free and go get the sack once Trey Smith, the guard, passes him off and tries to go pick up Crosby. And the other reason why I wanted to show this clip too is like just kind of want to show the effect of what having 2 really good edge rushers can do to an offense, and how, again, why you want to keep both these guys, Crosby and Kuntz, on the field at the same time, keep them both paid, because we'll see like the Chiefs go with a double chip look here, and one with the tight end being Travis Kelce, who's obviously this biggest weapon, and then the back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and this is 3rd and long, so that results in a 3-man route, and we've got 5 deep defenders to cover 3 receivers in this man coverage look. And we can like bracket MVS here, who's their deep threat and has a ton of speed. And then 2 Merrick's here to play the high hole. And our linebackers can just take care of these checkdowns, where even if Mahomes does hit him, we'll rally and tackle and be able to stop them and get and prevent the 3rd down conversion. Also, nice job by Butler getting the strip sack. See a nice rush here from Kuntz too. Get a little bit of the contain rush. Like you can see, like Kuntz is staying outside, making sure he can't roll out. And then once he reaches about level, spins back inside, ends up getting some pressure too. Kuntz had a really good game. He had like 9 pressures. We're going to see a sack from him coming up here too. Again, 3rd and 8. This is the example. This is the prime example of a great contain rush. This is what I was talking about too. Like where Crosby and Kuntz, they're both being aggressive and attacking these tackles, but they're not really like shading too far one side or the other, where like Kuntz is here in the inside lane. He's technically in the outside, but if need be, if Mahomes is going to step up and try and run in the B gap, he can easily cross face and get into there. And that's actually how he ends up winning. Again, similar to the rep we just saw. Realizes when he gets to about even, maybe a step before it with the quarterback, and spins back inside and ends up sacking Mahomes. And on the other end, you got Crosby, who, again, not giving Mahomes a rushing lane, got his hat inside to take away that. And two, because he's being a physical, if Mahomes were to roll out to his side, he can easily go get that sack for himself. And again, just being aggressive. Back end of the defense did a great job of covering things. They did a really good job of keeping things in front of them. I mean, Trevon Mary's here to close on Travis Kelce. Divine Diablo, who I picked on for this in the past, is staying deep. And again, in a position to help on Kelce if that throw goes there, and can help on this dig route a little bit just by being there and discouraging Mahomes from throwing it. And Spillane does the same thing too. Can rally to the back if they end up checking it down. So again, like we'll see it even better from the end zone view. But the Raiders are contained rushing here, but they're not just taking the play off. They're being physical. Like you can see Max taking it in the fight to this right tackle. I think it's Jawan Taylor. Yeah. I mean, not a great position to be in if you're an offensive lineman. And then two, Kuntz making a nice little spin move, go get a sack.
Yeah, it's important too because you see Travis Kelce, you see him take off after if he gets out of that pocket, I mean, that's a big play.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where those two guys have a lot of chemistry. And like you can see, like, if you just watch Mahomes, like he wants to get out of the pocket, right? He's like trying to look for that avenue. He's trying to look for somewhere to scramble around and run to. But because because the D line is still being aggressive and taking away the rushing lanes, he has nowhere to escape, and he can't get that magic that you see him do on a lot of third downs. Another nice contain rush here. Watch Max Crosby on this one. Again, Crosby's got plenty of pass rush moves that he can win with, but when he can turn speed to power like this and take away the rushing lane, right? Like Mahomes can't run in the B gap here. Same kind of thing. He's being aggressive, so he's still physical. So if Mahomes were to roll out, he can be in there that spot to get the sack. Tyree Wilson's doing a decent job of it too, up at the top of the screen, just not giving him anything. And the reason why I had these two guys highlighted, like, you can see, like, if Mahomes wants to, maybe he can laser one into Travis Kelce if he's a little bit more on time and looking to that side. And we know he has a strong arm and he can probably fit that in. But even so, maybe he goes to Watson here, who is wide open and in the little hole in the cover two coverage from the Raiders. But because the pass rush is getting there so quickly, and because the Raiders are still being aggressive, it forces Mahomes into a snap decision, and he just ends up checking it down, and we get a great open field tackle by Amik. That was the other thing the Raiders did really well in this game. Their DBs made several open field tackles when they had the opportunities to do it, which is huge. I believe this one's the screen. Yeah, a little dual screen action. You see the Chiefs kind of getting tricky with it, faking the screen to this was that Mecole Hardman on the little ghost motion behind the quarterback. And then they're dumping it off to Pacheco out of the backfield. And again, beautiful open field tackle by Nate Hobbs there. Nice TFL. Was that loss of 6 or 7?
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why if you noticed why I had Bilal Nichols highlighted here from the jump, is Nichols is still being aggressive, even though it's a screen. And this is kind of running with the theme that I've been talking about. The Raiders were attacking the Chiefs, and they were attacking their offensive line. And so he gets into his rush. And again, he takes the fight to Trey Smith, who's just trying to like basically set and release him. But because Nichols is so physical and he's attacking him, and even though it's a screen, he's not really backing off, Trey Smith can't get out. And the way the Chiefs are trying to block this, right, they have their interior 3 offensive linemen working out to the flat with the tackle staying on Max Crosby. They're counting on Trey Smith to get out here and at least get a piece of Nate Hobbs. But because Nichols was so aggressive and tied up Trey Smith at the line of scrimmage, Hobbs doesn't even have to worry about it. And all he has to do is just go run and make this great open field tackle. Get another view of it here. Like this was another pretty good game from Nichols, I thought, too. He's fitting with the theme of being more aggressive up front for the Raiders. This one was beautiful. Chiefs try to start getting tricky with it and try to start doing other things with their protection schemes to basically keep the Raiders away from Mahomes. Like you're going to see this one. They're going to do a little play action fake and slide the protection left to Max Crosby's side. But Crosby does a great job of this time recognizing it, seeing a little bit of the overset by left tackle here, Wanya Morris, who I think was a rookie last year, wins with a nice swim move. And because the Chiefs are having to max protect on top of it too, and taking care of Malcolm Kuntz, they basically got a 2-man route with a check down option. But with Crosby winning to the 2-receiver side, Mahomes has nothing to do except scramble around. This time he does break free of the pocket a little bit. But again, Malcolm Kuntz is there, not just taking the play off and waiting for him. But Malcolm Kuntz is there, and then that forces Mahomes to just throw it away. That was kind of the answer. Is basic. There was kind of the theme of the game. Like basically, whenever the Chiefs tried something else, the Raiders just had a great answer. Also, a great game by Patrick Graham. Schemed it up pretty well. Another look that worked pretty well for the Raiders, this double mug look, the double A gap, walking both linebackers down in the on the line of scrimmage. They did a ton of simulated pressures here. Like you can see, both these guys end up dropping. It's actually Isaiah Paul now, who does a great job of seeing the pick and understanding what's going on, recognizing that Kelsey's trying to pick him. And with this crossing route, ends up taking away Rashee Rice on, I believe this was 3rd and short. Great pickup to help out his teammate. Again, forcing Mahomes to throw it away. Another nice win by Malcolm Kuntz here down at the bottom of the screen. Again, we're contain rushing. This isn't the best rep by Crosby. He does think maybe was anticipating the chip and didn't get it from Kelsey. Lets Mahomes get outside of him. But again, with Kuntz winning to the outside, Crosby recovers well, ends up checking it down. Get a good view of it here. They just abused this dude. Nice little, I didn't notice this the first time, but nice little use of like tempo here by Malcolm Kuntz, starting slow, showing a second gear.
Well, that's a signature move from college right there.
Yeah, a little hesitation.
Yeah.
Nice little hand swipe too. Another one of these double A gap looks. This one's going to be another simulated pressure. Like these two guys, Divine Diablo and Spillane, they're going to drop back in coverage. And so is Tyree Wilson here. So again, simulated pressure. Going to also bring Nate Hobbs off the edge on the blitz. And that's one thing that the Raiders did that really well. We saw the stunts earlier. And this look is tough for the offensive line, right? Because pre-snap, we got to account for all 6 of these dudes up front. And we have 6 to account for these 6. The guy we can't account for unless we hold someone else in, like Travis Kelce, is Nate Hobbs coming off the edge. So they gave the Chiefs offensive line a lot of confusing looks. I mean, even on this one, they run a stun off of it. So they just threw so much at them that helped open up these pass rush lanes. And Nate Hobbs does a good job of eventually finding it, getting some pressure on Mahomes, and again, forcing him into the check down. Ends up being like a 3-yard gain, making them play behind the sticks. Another decent open field jackal, I should say, from this one.
Look at Tyree Wilson in space.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at him in
Never
space.
mind, yeah. Tyree Wilson, that's a great tackle in space. We got DN tackling in space. We'll take that every time.
That's why he got drafted top 10 for that type of play, guys. You already know.
All right, so moving on to the defensive touchdowns. This is the one I was talking about that was really more luck. For some context, before this, the Chiefs had their best drive of the game, and they scored a touchdown that was really well designed off of this action where they put like Pacheco at back quarterback and this little wildcat type of look. So I think they were trying to go back to that, and like they end up just messing up the mesh point on the handoff or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to do. I feel like they were trying to throw it with the offensive line, with how they blocked it. But also up front, they're screwed up too here. Like we'll see this time, like they're just going to leave John Jenkins like unblocked. Like Creed Humphrey like works laterally and has like a post arm, but I'm assuming expecting Trey Smith to pick him up. But Smith ends up getting too far engaged with Bilal Nichols. They have a free rusher basically. And again, got a running back trying to give the ball to the quarterback, basically switching roles, end up muffing the handoff. Jenkins, since he was unblocked, does a good job of making sure Mahomes or Pacheco can't recover the ball. And then Trey Smith probably hears the fumble call or something, kind of just lets Nichols go. Nichols in the right spot at the right time. Sometimes it's better be lucky than good, man.
Yeah.
Big man touchdown. I also want to know, what is Mecole Hardman thinking here?
I don't know, man.
290-pound dude right at the 2. Make a business decision, bro. All right, last play here, and this is the one where I'm talking about a little bit of where the Raiders pass rush, I think, got to the Chiefs and how it kind of affected them. Because you're going to see here, like the Chiefs are going to go with a little naked bootleg out of the shotgun here, out of play action. And I would assume basically because the Raiders were just killing them up front all game, so they're just going to put Mahomes out on his own to basically be able to protect himself. But what happens is with the Raiders in man coverage, our guy Jack Jones doing one of his patented quick reads in man coverage. Or excuse me, it's actually zone, I think.
Yeah.
Either way,
3
Jack
buzz.
Jones. Yeah, 3 buzz. You're right. Jack Jones with the beautiful read on the short curl route, ends up jumping it. Mahomes floats it a little bit because he's throwing on the run. Doesn't quite have his feet set. And ends up making the pick 6. So again, pass rush obviously doesn't hit home here, but I can guarantee you the reason why the Chiefs are calling plays like this is because everything else they were doing wasn't working, and they were just getting beat up front. So they're going to take the line out of this play and try and get Mahomes to just bootleg and be free on his own. Ends up not working out because Jones reads it and Mahomes doesn't have his feet set. Ends up being a pick 6. So yeah, like I said, that was the biggest thing that I noticed with them is like they were keeping Mahomes in the pocket and again doing those contain rush, but they were still aggressive, still physical, and just kind of took the fight to Kansas City. And at some point, Kansas City just kind of ran out of answers. They didn't have anything else that could really work, even when they tried to take the O-line out of it. And it obviously didn't end up working out. And it just kind of be the perfect storm for the Raiders. And got a little luck again, too.
So. Yeah. I thought, that was a Patrick Game masterpiece to me. It's hard for you to duplicate, though, if you don't have the defensive line for it, right? I mean, that's the real big part of that is that you have a really great defensive line. You can do things like that. And that's why I kind of laugh at what people rank the Raiders, because I just don't understand where the last time we saw a defensive line of this caliber not be a playoff contender. Like it doesn't and not be a great defense. I can't think of it. I mean, maybe you could tell me, Matt. I don't remember the last time where you had like a Max Crosby, a Malcolm Kuntz, and a Christian Wilkins on the same defensive line, and they weren't one of the best defenses in football because, especially in the AFC. I mean, the NFC might be a little different because they run the ball more, but in the AFC, man, we got all these dudes who think they can throw the ball 40 times. You know what I mean? So this is, I mean, the Raiders are built for that. I mean, the Browns, I mean, they survived off that all year. I mean, they were one of the best defensive football because they had Garrett and Clowney, and wasn't Clowney on their team last year? Yeah.
No, Clowney was on the Ravens last year.
Oh, he was.
But that's another good example.
Darius Smith. Oh, that's Darius Smith. My bad.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference though is like the Browns had Denzel Ward.
Yes,
who's a corner number 1. Like to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, and Newsome, who's been a pretty good dude. So I think that's where you probably lose it a little bit. But then again, that was the best defense in the league. You look at a team like the Ravens, they have what's the guy's name? 44.
Humphrey,
Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey. There we go. I don't know why I want to call him Murphy, but Humphrey like in the back end, but they didn't have a great corner last year, like outside of him. Like that's why they took Nate Wiggins in the first round. So I do think you have a point where like a good defensive line can solve a ton of problems for you. And like you can get teams out of their game. Like, yes, you can say, okay, yeah, you can run a ton of quick game and everything. But if you have at least good open field tacklers in your secondary, which obviously is not always easy to do, you can solve that problem and take care of that right away. Like you can get them to play your game instead of having them playing their game a little bit too. So I definitely think the Raiders defense, like you said, can be a little underrated at this point, but who cares, man? I like it at this point. Let them be the sleeping giant at this stage in the game.
I think I get on TikTok, man. I'm tired of these nerds. They're gonna finish last. You're just like, what are you watching? I just don't understand. I don't get it. But it's the quarterback. I understand it, but I just like this defense is not gonna suck. That's like one thing I'm like really confident about with this Raiders team. Is I feel like this defensive line is gonna kind of set the tone, and a lot of the teams that have gone on, runs in the playoffs, they've all had great defensive lines. I mean, the Niners. Yeah. I mean, you can go to the Lions. I mean, they got like McNeil and Hutchinson and all these other dudes. You know what I mean? Like they have all, and it's inside and outside, and that's why I think the Raiders have a chance to kind of be a really good defense this year because they got that defensive line coming back. But we'll see, because you're right. It's really we're gonna find out is when they don't get home.
Yeah, and I think like on that too, like what you're talking about, like especially with the Niners towards the end of last year when they traded for Chase Young, is they never stopped adding to it and they were deep. Like you look at like what the Eagles do, like what Howie Roseman, like part of the reason why I love Howie Roseman as a GM is the dude just stockpiles athletes and stockpiles like good like talent on the defensive line. So I mean, I guess if that would be the one example of that you're talking about earlier of a defense kind of breaking down because they didn't have it in the secondary. James Bradbury obviously regressed last year, and the Eagles started losing towards the end of the year, but still like their defensive line for most of the year was able to cover up their problems and whatnot. So
yeah, 100%. All right, so let's get into some 12 personnel. All right, so we're gonna start off with the run game. What I thought was interesting, we talked a lot about duo with Zamir White last episode, and there's a lot of duo in here. I mean, this is what we would call duo here, a duo run from Dante Foreman out of 12 personnel. I mean, they usually did it out of these 12 personnel packages, and it was more zone when you saw Justin Fields, but with Tyson Badgett in there, you saw more of these duo runs here. So I thought it was pretty interesting that we saw a lot of duo. I mean, it's a few of these runs here. This one is pretty good blocking from the Bears here. It's probably the best run blocking game I've saw from them on tape. All right, here we go. Here's another one here. So this one, you see a little bit more duo here on this one as well. More read look though a little bit, so you kind of can say. I mean, I guess he is opening towards the weak side A gap a little bit more on this one, so you can see it's inside zone, but you kind of can get the idea there with the zone read a little bit how it was different with Justin Fields and Tyson Badgett. But I mean, this is all all 12 personnel. You see 2 tight ends right there, shotgun. You got a little inside zone there. Watch the trade Chase Young and Montez Sweat. It's crazy. Every time I watch that. All right. So here we go again. A little bit more duo on this one too here. No, my bad. This one's split zone. Sorry, guys. Split inside zone on this one. So, but out of 12 personnel, once again. Now, I talked about them. They use different tight ends a lot. So it was, 85 Cole Kemet was on the field a lot, but 84, I think is Davis or something like that. He was on the field a lot too. That's what. So I was talking about like Harrison Bryant. He was going to get a lot of playing time, and he still might. I think he still is because they like to switch the tight ends. It's not always the same 2 tight ends on the field. You see here, I mean, good run game there. So like, I mean, this is really what the run package is. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I mean, he's not really stagnant in one thing, to be honest. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they run the football and how they fit it around Zamir White, because Zamir White can run this split zone. We showed that a little bit last week. All right, this one is a counter run, I believe. So yeah, we get not counter, just pure power on this one.
Take your counter with the tight end working across.
Yeah. Right there. So it's in 12 personnel it is a lot of, it's a mixture, right? I think when they run like 11, they like to do a lot more of their wide zone out of 11. When you go back and watch the Raiders game, you'll see a lot of that. But it's just when I watch this, their offensive line. I mean, I guess Cody Whitehair is here, but I still don't know. I feel like he should have went to that hole, but that's just me. Their offensive line is just not good, so it's kind of it's hard to judge his run game too much at times. But I mean, you see just a mixture of things. I mean, and especially at 12 personnel, it wasn't a lot of outside zone at all. So here's another duo here. I mean, Foreman definitely made a mistake bouncing this one because I mean, he definitely could have got some yards going straight ahead here on this deal. Is pretty good blocking there, especially with 84 getting up there. But it's just a kind of it's a mixture. It's just not one thing, right? But so you know, after going a couple of these runs, one thing he does like to do out of here though is tosses. So I mean, he mixes it up enough where it's not like a tell, right? Like it's not a tell type of thing. But they ran out of 12 personnel the most. This is what they ran the most. So they ran tosses like this. They like to get these tight ends out in space and blocking, right? And you know, you get some pretty good blocking here, and Foreman takes the cutback. But this is what they like to do is different types of tosses here. So like you get the one hand, you get the two hand shotgun toss here. All right. Then you get the under center 12 personnel pure toss here with the motion from the tight end. They love these tosses. He loves these tosses at a 12 personnel. And if you're a Raiders fan, you probably have PTSD from that game. This is what they did to them all game. I know you watched that game recently, Matt. So yeah, this is what they did to them. 12 personnel tosses. So here's another one, and like so we mix it up, and you get the motion there. Do a little switch, and then we get another toss. So that is something they like to do at 12 personnel. And to me, it's like he likes to pick on certain linemen too. That's one thing I noticed about Luke Getsy is he will find a lineman or a linebacker or offense like an outside linebacker. These guys he likes to pick on, so he will run at that guy.
Like you're talking about with the tosses, he was picking on Marcus Peters.
You know what I mean? Like he'll run right at this guy because he was running right at 45 for most of this game. This dude right here, right at him. You see him getting blocked up like that. Or 46, whatever. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed with Luke Getsy in the run game is he finds a weakness in your front seven. And I mean, which is mostly a front six these days, but
yeah,
he likes to attack you that way, which is super interesting to watch. All right, so let's get to the passing game here. We get a little bit more in depth with this passing game. So he really likes to have these two tight ends in the field, and sometimes he'll keep him in for blocking, but he does a good job of getting these guys open. And then especially you'll see here, there are a lot of these. We got 5 across. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still got 5 DBs. He's still a nickel here, right? But what happens is, he has a good job of attacking these zones. So we're going to get like a sail route, basically. So you're going to get corner here. You're going to get a go, and then like a quick out here. So it kind of creates a high-low, right, for the quarterback, plus a go route, right? And basically, they're basically playing against. This is 3 buzz, even though this guy's shaded over here, right? They're basically playing cover 3 here. And what happens is you see that Cole Kemet, am I saying his name right? Number 85. He's wide open. That is wide open right there. That is a completion if he throws that ball on time. So he does a good job of scheming these guys open against zone, especially against what I would say, the leverages and where these guys' rules are. Right? Because if it's cover 3, I mean, he has to come here. This guy, it just creates this opening, and then when you have this outside release, it has to keep this corner outside, right? You see the release of the go route too. It keeps the corner outside, wide open. There's room right there. He doesn't throw it to him though. He throws the check down instead for some reason. Not sure why. I mean, you get a first down though, I guess. First down, efficiency, EPA right there.
I think when you're an undrafted free agent that from a Division II school and you're getting a start, you're just trying to not screw it up.
You gotta let it rip, man. This is for your life, bro. This is for money. You try to go from 800,000 to
at this rate, 800 million.
Oh man, right there. That's a good design though. I like the design. I like how he attacks this defense. But efficiency right there. Efficient first down. It's third down. EPA, DVOA. It's gonna get your ratings up there right there. That check down. So all right. So here we got another one. We got 2 tight ends. We got 85 here. You got 18. Robert Tonyan. That's what I'm saying. Like he has good tight ends. I mean, both these guys are good. All right. So that's why it's important that they're gonna run this type of offense because both these guys are pretty good. So on this one, you're getting the drive concept, right? So what is drive concept? Drive concept is a dig, and you're gonna get a chip and then the drag underneath. So it basically creates a high-low off play action. I think they're supposed to play action here because it's just the way he looked at the running back. And you see it here. He has a couple guys open here. Okay. So the way this gets schemed up, because you see it once again, they're playing cover 3 again, right? So we're playing cover 3, and either right there, it's right there. There's the drag right there, but he also has to dig. I mean, there's just these guys are not dropping enough, right?
Yeah.
So they're not really showing him respect. He has to dig right there, boom. But he waits too long on both and kind of just throws it away. So, like I said, this is a good concept against what the Panthers are trying to do, right? And especially got 12 personnel out there, right? And I mean, he has Foreman out here.
Yeah, and they got the look they wanted with the middle linebacker. Like, if you back it up a little bit, the middle linebacker chases the back and gets out of position, like you're saying. Like, go back another couple frames. Like, they got the look they wanted. You'll see the back follow. You'll see the linebacker follow the back for some reason to the flat.
Just enough, right?
Yeah.
And then boom,
Right.
There he is. There it is.
Yeah. It's off for the races.
I don't know. Maybe he looks like he's looking at the out route though. I don't know. That's a pre-snap thing that he's getting. It's just you just hope the Raiders quarterbacks have a better decision pre-snap. You know that you have these looks. You got to make these pre-snap decisions. All right. So this one I really want to highlight because you see the tight ends in the backfield, which I think they're going to do a lot. This is what I think they're going to do. A whole lot is have a tight end here at fullback and have it work that way. All right. So we get a play action. Boom. And we're getting a rollout. Now, this play, I posted this play on Twitter. He has 3 levels here because DJ Moore is running basically a post corner with his release. So this is why I talk about where I like the way he coaches these guys to release because he's basically like he's running a post route. So he's going to get this corner to flip his hips, right? Mm-hmm. And anticipating that he's going to run a post route, then he goes to the corner. He's wide open. He doesn't throw it to him, which is fine. I guess I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's looking at. But he could go here. And the thing is, too, is that by the time this guy realizes this one and he doesn't throw it, he can come here. You're throwing it across your body, but that's not really that much across your body. You could just throw it here and have a good completion, too. Because this guy, he'd have to flip his hips and come back this way. That's just physics. But he has DJ Moore. He has here. He has here. These guys are open on all 3 levels. He just runs out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a flood concept just to get into it differently from 2 people working across the formation.
Yeah. You see DJ Moore like, what the hell's going on? You see this?
It's a flood concept where all 3 options are open.
All of them. This is what I'm talking about. So you see DJ Moore there, but this is what I'm talking about. This guy is wide open too because he can throw it right to him because this guy's looking at the quarterback. He can't get back here, right? This guy's open. He probably has some yak with it a little bit too. And, or you just could have went here, man, if you wanted to be conservative.
Yeah. Just pick one of them.
It's crazy. You'll have to watch. All right. So here we go. Play action again here, but this is like more the easy completions you can get out of it. It's 12 personnel looks, right? So I like how they do it kind of a switch release though. You see how they're kind of lined up here, and this guy, he's going to release underneath. So switch release. Get easy completion there to tight end. So I'm like, there's some good designs here. I think one area where he is just, I wonder if Scott Turner's going to get in here. It's like you just don't see a lot of short concepts from Getsy. You just don't see a lot of them, even with Badgett was playing. And here's the spot concept. And 85 was a little bit of issue getting off this press coverage, but no, it's just gets real simple in the short passing game. It doesn't get more detailed than that, and it's hard to find. And I don't know, like if that's just because he had Justin Fields or it's like that. It's just hard to find easy completions because you see on this one. I mean, Badging gets is wrong here because he's getting a dagger, which you don't see a lot of tight ends running the clear out on dagger that much. I just thought that was interesting. So he's running the clear out. You got dagger to this side, and then you just basically got an out and a go on this other side, right? I mean, really, nothing's really. I mean, he doesn't realize it's cover two, and they do. The Panthers do a good job of disguising it. You'll watch Jackson here. Jackson is pressing, and he turns his back to the quarterback, which the quarterback is thinking, oh, it's quarters or something like that. This guy's about to be wide open. And then he turns around, his ball's right there to him. I don't know how he did catch that ball. I don't know why did he swat at it? No idea. Corners are funny. But he just swats at that ball. He easily could have caught it. He does a good job of getting his head around. But, it's just interesting to see kind of, if you get Brock Bowers and you get on a seam route, right? I mean, he's going to be flying down the field. And then you get it on the dagger route right there. So it's interesting. But it's just really bad quarterback play. It really is. Most of this is kind of some sound to. But you kind of can see the idea because even like the Y league, we're getting Y league here on this one, which is traditional West Coast play. You see, Cocaine is about to be wide open. Like Jackson's that he paid attention. Now you could say this guy's really close to him, but to me, when you have Y league and because Y league's always so wide open, just throw it in the air.
Yeah, just put it up.
You just throw it. Because even if you think about it, if he catches it here like on a 20 or something like that, this guy still has to turn around and catch up to him. You're at least getting the ball at the 10, right?
I wonder, is that a design screen though? Because it does look like the O-line is like.
See, it looks like it's a design screen to me, in my opinion. It looks like it's a design screen, but I think it's a Y league. I think it's a Y league with the design screen because you see the O-line moving, right? Yeah. But if you see a cocaine. If it's a screen, like he's looking for the ball, he's looking. Look at it.
Yeah,
he's expecting the ball to come down, right?
Yeah, maybe it's like those are his two options. Like if Jackson had stayed home, then throw the screen, kind of deal.
Exactly, because you got to look at it too. These guys aren't going forward or anything like that, so it does a good job of keeping like them on the line of scrimmage. But so you have both options here. But man, I'm just.
Yeah, you're like waiting for a go call, like if it was a old kickoff return.
Yeah, it's just and I'm saying, and we're getting motion out of here too. A lot of motion from the tight ends. It just is great play call. I just understand. All right. So yeah, that's 12 personnel there. That's really what you got. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff that he does, like vertically. That's the thing. Like a lot of it's vertical, not a lot of short stuff. So I don't know where the short stuff's gonna come from or where that's gonna come in. But
I think they're gonna need that with the two quarterbacks that they have. Like that's the only thing that's the one thing that kind of worries me is like I like what Luke Getsy does, but at the same time, like you don't have a quarterback with a strong arm. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, like you showed before, like when he has a clean pocket, he can hit those throws. He could hit Cole Kmet on that last pass, but they don't exactly like neither him or Gardner Minshew are known for being able to bomb it down the field consistently with pressure going on. So that's the one good thing is like, are they trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole kind of deal? But it'll be interesting to see where that comes from.
Yeah, because it's just interesting to fit for quarterback because just to go out and pay Gardner Minshew that much, knowing that you have like a vertical type of offensive coordinator is just super interesting to me. I don't see the correlation. Maybe they're expecting to draft somebody. Maybe they're expecting Michael Penix or somebody like that to fall to them. Because the Falcons basically stole him. Let's keep it real. The Falcons stole Michael Penix from them. So since they're expecting some guy like that to come and be their guy to throw downfield, Jaden Daniels, I don't know what their plan was, but I don't know. It feels like that. They don't have that guy just to throw deep like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Scott Turner's he's working it up, doing some short stuff because he's better with that. So
for sure. Yeah. It is interesting too, like we see it. I mean, I guess Bagents, you can excuse it a little bit more because he's younger and, like I said, an undrafted D2 project. But like the fact that the Bears had 2 quarterbacks who just refused to throw the ball, like I'm like, all right, is Getsy maybe too complicated? Like that's like I mean, it's like a question we'll never know the answer to until the season. But I'm like, why are both of these guys just not letting it rip? Like, why are we constantly seeing do these two dudes? Bears have just a terrible quarterback coach from the past, or like that's the only thing I'm like, why are both of these guys struggling with the exact same thing? Like, is it Luke Getsy? Maybe, I don't know, but we'll find out soon enough, I guess.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It did a deep dive into, basically more of a scheming episode, just some scheming here. So looking into, what Patrick Graham did with the scheme against the Chiefs and Luke Getsy's 12 personnel. So go ahead, check that out, guys. And then, check out all the other videos. A lot of people ask me about the whole Luke Getsy breakdown. I have a breakdown of that. Just go check that out. We did a huge deep dive right when he got hired. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and check that out. Basically, we went through his passing game, his short passing game, his run game. We did a completely deep dive, like a whole episode. So go check that out if you are interested in that, because I do get a lot of questions about whether we have a breakdown of Luke Getsy's whole offense. So we do. Go check that out. Also, copy a T-shirt. Support everybody who's got a T-shirt already. Get your T-shirt. Boom. Hit that one if you want a Friday Night Live. If you want normal Tape Don't Lie, there you go. Get that one. So check that out. And thanks for supporting the channel, guys. And we're out of here. Peace.